Hi guys! Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite decks to play, Wilhelt the Rotcleaver. Wilhelt is the most popular zombie commander and he reads: he is 4 mana, 2, 1 blue and 1 black for a 3/3 zombie warrior, and he has the following ability. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. It also has, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. Decayed was an ability from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. These tokens with Decayed cannot block, and when they attack, they are sacrificed at the end of combat. The reason why he is so popular is because he can be built in a couple of different ways. You can build it as a go-wide strategy, a control deck, or in our case we decided to do a combo deck. We have a couple of win conditions, but before we mention those, let's talk about creatures. First we have Shambling Ghast, Flashbag Marauder, Butcher Ghoul, Geralf's Messenger, Hancock Ghoulish Mayor, and Putrid Goblin. Persist and Undying work very well with our deck, as you can sacrifice these zombies to Wilhelt's end step ability, draw a card, create a 2/2 token with Decayed, and still keep these zombies around. We also have some lords in the form of Cemetery Reaper, Diregraph Captain, Death Baron, Hordewing Scab, Mikaeus the Unhallowed, and Zombie Master. These are the lords we decided to run in our deck, as they do something extra than simply making our zombies bigger, like protection and graveyard hate. For death triggers and draw we have Archghoul of Thraben, Crypt Breaker, Feral Ghoul, Forgotten Creation, Midnight Reaper, Headless Rider, Noxious Ghoul, Plague Belcher, Vengeful Deads, and Undead Augur. These allow us to dig our deck for ways to finish the game and keep the zombie hordes coming. There are 3 non-zombie creatures on the deck. Regardless, in our hearts there are still zombies. The 3 creatures are Giza and Geralf, Puppet Stitcher, and the Scarab God. Giza and Geralf are graveyard recursion. We also try to avoid self-mill as much as possible, as we don't want to lose our combo pieces to the graveyard. Zombies you can return, but the rest not so much. Puppet Stitcher is super synergetic with the deck, and also a combo piece that we are going to talk about later. And the Scarab God, the previous most popular zombie commander, his ability is super powerful and allows us to grind the game if our combos don't work out. So think of it as a plan B. As this is a zombie deck, we have a lot of graveyard recursion like Giza and Geralf, but we also have Reanimate, Stitch Together, Deadly Plot, Animate Dead, Living Death, and Zombie Apocalypse. These last 2 are super powerful, as you can turn the game around with just 1 card out of nowhere, returning all the zombies that you either lost, sacrificed, or discarded to the battlefield. Planeswalkers, you have many options, but we only have one in this case. Liliana Untouched by Death. She gives you removal, but most importantly, she can ultimate when she comes into play, allowing you to recast zombies from your graveyard this turn. If we want to find our win cons, we need to run some tutors. And for those we have Vile Entomber, Sidisi Undead Vizier, Beseech the Mirror, Diabolic Intent, Buried Alive, Vampiric Tutor, and Entomb. Limdu's Vault is an instant for 1 blue and 1 black. Allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your library, then you pay 1 life and put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Then look at the top 5 cards of your library. Then shuffle your library and put the last cards you looked at this way on top of it in any order. Doesn't really read like a tutor, but it really is, and you can keep paying 1 life, looking at 5 cards until you get what you want on the top of your deck. With a bit of luck, you get 2 cards you want together in one of those piles of 5 cards. Lively Dirge is a new card from Outlaws at Thunder Junction. Costs 1 and a black for a sorcery with Spree. For 1 extra, you can search your library for a card and put it in your graveyard and shuffle. And for 2, return up to 2 creature cards with a total mana value of 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card, if you know what to look for, can win you the game on the spot, as this is a bad Entomb and a bad Reanimate stitched together. Now that we talked about tutors, what are we tutoring for? It may change from game to game, of course, but we have the stars of our deck. These are Grave Pact, a 4-mana enchantment that is very good with our commander ability, keeping our opponent's boards in check. Necro Duality, another 4-mana enchantment that doubles our non-token zombies when they enter the battlefield, giving us a copy of those zombies. One of the strongest that benefits from this enchantment is Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So, instead of draining our opponents for 1 million damage, we can drain them for 2 million damage instead. Rooftop Storm, another enchantment, in this case 5 and a blue with you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells you cast. This card reads powerful and is even more powerful than you think. Not only it is a combo piece with a couple of cards we are going to mention in a bit, but also allows us to play our hand every turn for free. We have a special interaction with Liliana Untouched by Death, -3 ability, as we can cast every single zombie in our graveyard for 0 mana. And now, for the 2 best cards in the deck we have Phyrexian Altar and Gravecrawler. Not only do these 2 cards combo together, but Gravecrawler is the most powerful and synergistic card in the deck, allowing you to draw cards, always having a zombie to sacrifice for the low price of 1 black mana. And speaking of combos, like we mentioned at the start, we decided to build our Wilhelt as a combo deck, and we have a lot of different combos that we can do depending on the game and the board state at hand. These combos are Wilhelt plus Gravecrawler plus Phyrexian Altar. This setup will produce infinite ETB, infinite decay tokens, or regular 2/2 zombie tokens if Diregraph Colossus is used instead of Wilhelt, and through Phyrexian Altar, infinite colored mana, to be paired with one of our finishers like Diregraph Captain, Vengeful Dead, and Plague Belcher, or attack with a massive infinite zombie wave next turn. We also have variations like Wilhelt plus Puppet Stitcher plus Phyrexian Altar. If you have Puppet Stitcher transformed into Puppet Factory, the tokens Wilhelt creates don't have decayed, meaning you can keep sacrificing them to an altar to produce infinite mana and drain someone to death, if you have one of the finishers we mentioned on the combo before. You can also use another sack outlet like Carrion Feeder instead. This way, you don't have infinite mana, but you still have the death triggers and your Carrion Feeder will be gigantic. You can combo with Gravecrawler in other ways like Gravecrawler plus Rooftop Storm plus Carrion Feeder. Keep using the sacrifice ability from Carrion Feeder to sacrifice Gravecrawler and recasting him from the graveyard for 0 because of Rooftop Storm. You have also Mikaeus the Unhallowed plus Plague Belcher plus Phyrexian Altar. Activate Phyrexian Altar by sacrificing Plague Belcher, adding 1 mana of any color. Plague Belcher dies, triggering its Undying ability, returning it from the graveyard to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. Plague Belcher enters the battlefield putting 2 -1/-1 counters on itself. The -1/-1 will cancel the +1/+1 counters from Undying, allowing you to keep sacrificing Plague Belcher, giving you infinite colored mana and infinite death triggers. Persist and Undying work together very well, so another combo you can do is Mikaeus the Unhallowed plus Putrid Goblin plus Carrion Feeder. We have another one for you in this case, Liliana Untouched by Death plus Shambling Ghast plus Carrion Feeder. Activate Liliana's 3rd loyalty ability by removing 3 loyalty counters from it, allowing you to cast zombie spells from your graveyard this turn. Activate Carrion Feeder by sacrificing Shambling Ghast. Shambling Ghast dies, creating a treasure token. Resolve the Carrion Feeder ability, putting a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate the treasure token by tapping and sacrificing it. Adding black. Cast Shambling Gust from your graveyard by paying 1 black. And you can keep using the treasure to cast Shambling Gust over and over again. This will result in infinite +1/+1 counters on Carrion Feeder and infinite death triggers. And again, with Wilhelt this means near infinite 2/2 tokens with Decades, and with one of the finishers you just drain everyone to death. We saved the best for last. In this case, Acererak the Archleech plus Rooftop Storm. This combo is very easy to do and very hard to interact with. You need to have Acererak the Archleech in hand. Rooftop Storm must be on the battlefield, and you have not completed Tomb of Annihilation. The dungeon that we are going to venture into is the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Cast Acererak by paying 0. Acererak enters the battlefield, returning it to your hand and venturing into the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Each time you trigger the Dark Pool Room ability, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And you just do this over and over again. With so much value, you may think that we run a lot of protection. But we do not. We wanted to build our deck like a thematic zombie glass cannon because it would be more challenging, and so we just run. An offer you can't refuse, Counterspell, Lazotep Plating, Undying Malice, and Overcharged Amalgam. But if you really like the deck and want to build a more serious build, feel free to include the standard blue counterspell package of counters to keep your zombie plan protected at all costs. If you want to check the full deck list, please check the video's description. We will keep it up to date if we make any changes to our lists. We hope you enjoyed this very ghoulish deck, and as always, if you'd like, subscribe and leave a comment if you would like to share your experience with this or similar zombie commanders. We also started a Ko-fi, so if you guys want to help us improve our content, if you feel like it, please take a look on the link below, and as always, thank you so much and see you next time!